Welcome back to the channel, folks. I am making curry chicken tonight, and it's the first time I've ever made it. It'll take a couple of hours, and it's going to be my dinner tonight. So I'm going to make it in my grandma's old stainless steel pot. I've got this recipe that I wrote out. This is right here is just the ingredients. There's a whole nother page of instructions. This is going to be kind of a complicated recipe. The instructions are going to need a little bit of modifying. As a professional cook, I'm, like everybody, you can kind of go through things and see that there's some changes that can be made to make it a little bit easier. So I've got pretty much all my dry ingredients here. It's a lot of stuff. And then there's going to be a lot of wet ingredients as well. So let's get started with this. Okay, there is all my dry ingredients, and that's going to be all of these right here, except the cayenne. I have not put the cayenne in yet because the recipe says to put that in at the last minute to taste. So we got coriander, we got cumin, we got turmeric, we got fennel seeds, and you saw me grinding up the fennel seeds in a mortar and pestle type thing that I originally bought that to grind up these great big huge pills I had to take when I was in the hospital, or after I got out of the hospital, and I would grind them up in there. But it worked really great for the fennel seeds. It got ground cinnamon, and then ground mustard. And there was one other item that I couldn't get, and I don't know if I mentioned this after my last shopping trip, but I could not find cloves of any kind. Kind of the same thing at Winco. I could not find ground cloves there, and this other store didn't have any kind of cloves. And cloves to me are kind of particularly nasty. I don't like the smell of them at all, so I went ahead and left those out. I think that'll be all right. So, as I had mentioned, I've never worked with curry ever before. I've certainly seen curry powder, and I don't know, but perhaps all 6 of these things, 7 including the cloves, put together will make curry powder. That's all I can assume. I don't really know. Comment down below if you know. So let's go ahead and mix this up and see what it's going to look like. Okay, I have mixed that up, and it's all I can do to not be sneezing like a son of a gun. So that doesn't really smell like curry. So perhaps I should have looked up an official curry mixture, but I didn't. Maybe I'll do that later, but this is what this particular recipe calls for. So that's what we're going to go with. Okay, I'm just about ready to start cooking now. So I've got the proper amount of olive oil in the stainless steel pot. But the first thing I need to put in here is the chicken. That's part of the recipe that I've changed. I will start sauteing the chicken up in here. I've got my water for my chicken base ready. I don't have it heated up. I don't have it mixed up yet because I'm just not ready to start doing that. So before I can cut my chicken up, I need to get some garlic. I need to chop that up. I believe it calls for 2 cloves. I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure it does. And I've got onion. It calls for a very small onion. I've got what's left over of my sweet onion that I was putting on my burgers the last couple of days, so we'll reuse that. And then I've got my ginger. I forget how much of that I need, but we'll have to peel that and chop it all up before I can do the chicken. Alright, moving right along. I didn't film all the chopping stuff because we've seen that before and my battery was going dead, and I don't want to take my media mod apart to put a new battery in it, so I'm trying to keep it charged up. So we got the chicken in there. I just added the garlic, the onions, the what else? The ginger, and that was it. And the ginger has got me a little bit worried. Ginger is really powerful. And by the way, it wasn't just 2 cloves of garlic, it was 4. So I put 4 cloves of garlic in, The amount of ginger is 1 whole teaspoon. And I know ginger is really powerful, and I can really smell it here coming off. So I need to cook this for a little while. But I didn't even put all that ginger in. I was a little afraid of getting it too strong and too powerful. So we're going to just let this saute for a little bit. And then we'll be adding our curry. And then I have to open up my can of tomatoes. And I need just 3/4 of a cup. So I probably need half of this can of tomatoes is all I will need. And then I quite likely am going to put in the cornstarch and the cream. It depends. I need to find out what this is going to taste like before I do that. And then of course I'll put the cilantro in as the last thing. So we'll see. I'll see how this is coming out. Right now it's smelling pretty good. It's very, very, very gingery, and all the curry is not even in there yet. So I hope I'm not going overboard on this. I hope this recipe is going to be good and isn't going to be too powerful for me. And we have our chicken base. It's all ready to go. Just keeping it warm. And then the cayenne pepper. I don't know if I'll be using that. That'll be something else. So a couple more minutes and then we'll start adding our curry, and I need to get my can of tomatoes open. All right, I have a lot of dishes I've been doing and continuing to do while cooking. I end up with a lot of dirty dishes. So the curry has been cooking for 15 minutes now, and it's just sitting there lightly simmering. It's actually simmering a little bit more than I should, so I'll turn it down, but I think I'm going to let it go a little bit longer. And then I am probably going to do the slurry and the cream. And then of course I need to chop up, I'm not even sure how much cilantro. I think it says 2 tablespoons of cilantro. And that'll be the very last thing. I still don't know if I'm going to use the cayenne or not. We'll have to wait and see. I haven't even taste tested this yet, but I will pretty quick. Okay, the curry is about done. I'm going to let it sit here and cook a little bit longer. The chicken could be done a little bit more. I've tasted it a few times, and it's not overpowering to me. It tastes pretty warm, but it's not super hot by any means. I have not put any of that cayenne in there, and I don't believe I will. So this came out pretty good, but I want my chicken cooked a little bit more. And I don't believe I am going to put any cream in there, or slurry, and slurry. Won't need that. I think this will come out really good and should go really good with a bowl of basmati rice. So we'll get some cilantro cooked up and put it in there at the very end, and I think this is going to be a success story. I think it's going to be really good. Enjoyed this video? Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.